I'm here with Kevin Angell, the director of the Children's Homes of Iredell County. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I really, really do.
Awesome. Tell us where you are on your career path.
Yeah, so it's a great question. A few months ago, I read this book by a guy named Richard Rohr called The Two Halves of Life. And in that book, he talks about really kind of the next step people take in their life and their careers on the second half. And even though this is kind of a conversation that's been triggered by being a young professional, in a lot of ways, I still feel like I'm moving into that second half of my career, if I'm being real transparent. So I'm looking for ways to kind of get more in touch with my inner self and kind of how I want to accomplish the things I want to accomplish as I move forward in that second half of my career. My ideas about how we get work done are pretty clear to me. Those have kind of galvanized. And so where I want to go in my career next is just to take those values and try to live through them. That's really what, if I was answering that question really, really vulnerably, I'd say that's what's important to me. Live through my values in my career as I move into that second half.
And what are your contributions to the community? How are you giving back?
Sure, it's a good question. I think the two spaces where I feel like I'm contributing the most right now is first in the DEI space, so your diversion, equity, and inclusion. I sit on a committee with the Project Management Institute out of Metrolina, which is based out of Charlotte, but it serves this greater Iredell County area, Statesville, et cetera. How do you create belonging within organizations and communities? That's something that I feel like I'm giving a lot of contribution to through volunteer work with nonprofits here in town locally, in my own faith community, and then, and of course, at my place of employment. So that's a space where I think a lot of my energy and contributions are being given. The other one really is around strategic planning and growth for organizations, in particular nonprofit organizations, because that's the big challenge that nonprofits face is what's your sustainability plan. Your nonprofit status is something that's exists kind of with the IRS, but that doesn't mean that's how you got to run your business or run your organization. And so helping organizations and even my own organization understand what's its future going to look like. I work with the Children's Homes of Iredell County. Like you mentioned, they've been around 50 years.
Wow.
Well, if we want them to be around another 50 years, then we've got to have some plans for how to do that, real concrete plans. And so strategic thinking, strategic decision making, understanding how to finance human service organizations, faith-based organizations, et cetera. That's where I feel like I'm contributing the most right now.
What's your definition of leadership?
To me, leadership is coherency. The role of the leader is to bring clarity where there isn't clarity. One of my favorite authors, and a lot of folks know her work, is Brene Brown. And she has this phrase called clear is kind, unclear is unkind. And I think that's a very powerful way to describe the role of a leader. A leader's job is to bring coherency and clarity where there isn't. And so I feel like that's really what drives my behavior as a leader, is trying to bring clarity to the teams and the situations and the problems that I'm kind of brought into.
I think you've already answered this, but what's one word that drives you?
Connection. Yeah, connection's a big thing. I think there's a lot of problems in the world, and you can approach them in a lot of different ways. And it makes me think of like the old Stephen Covey principle. You can have a strategy, you can have execution, but if you don't have trust, you won't succeed within the team of people you work with. And so connection is the foundation for that, creating the structures of belonging that get a group of people aligned. And so connection is something that drives me in my personal and professional life to accomplish goals individually and then collectively with others.
And what advice would you give those coming behind you? What would you tell them?
I believe the DEI work is the next great superpower for young professionals or any person in life, really. If you can get a diverse group of people together, even in cross-sector, cross-industry, in the same room, bringing those diverse talents and intellectual capital to the table, then I think you can accomplish almost anything. And so if I was talking to myself when I was younger, I would say, be curious about what you don't know. Put yourself around people who have different strengths than you do. Leverage those strengths to learn and grow. Take life and work very seriously, and be unapologetic about that. And I think the last thing I would tell a younger version of myself or talk to other young professionals would be, you got to find joy in being wrong. And I think that's hard. It's hard to say, there's learning that needs to happen every single day in my career and my life. But do I value that? right? Or do I approach that with some defensiveness? And so for myself, I've gotten to that place you talk about, kind of full circle, the second half of my career. I want to spend more time with wrong, where I've gotten it wrong, and then try to learn from that.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and congratulations. And listening to your answers, wow, definitely a future 5.
Thank you so much. It's been great, and I appreciate the Chamber for the award and all the folks that were involved in kind of making this happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.